Okay, so here I am in a brand new Windows Server 2019 that I have provisioned. If I go to this PC of this, I can see that I've got a C drive and I've got a D drive with enough space. So if you don't have this provision for you, get your IT to provision that. We're going to install Sage X3 in this server as a single solution. So this one single server will host all the services of the Sage X3 system, including the database. So this is the simplest form of installing Sage. We're going to cover that. So let's cover a couple of basics first. We need to prepare Windows for this installation. The first thing I would need to do is to absolutely make sure you are logged in as the administrator. So logged into this account, to this Windows server as an admin. Now, the first thing I need to do is to go and disable the IE enhanced security thing, because without that, I can't browse to any websites, and that's imperative that you do this. So click on the Windows Start menu, go to Server Manager, click this tips, go to the local server here, and then you can see this IE enhanced security configuration. So click on this on button there, and for administrators, turn it off. You may also choose it for choose to turn it off for users as well. So I'm going to do that, but it's up to you to do that because we're going to use the administrator to log in. So I'm going to go and click OK. So the IE enhanced admin security is now disabled. The second thing I need to do is to create a local account. So I can use that local account to install Sage X3 on this computer. I do not recommend using the administrator account. So create a local account in there. So click on the Start menu again, type in Computer Management. So Computer Management, when it pops up, just select it. Then go under Local Users and Groups, double click on Users, right click here, and click New User. So in the username, choose a username that you'll use to install Sage X3 on. So I'm going to go with X3 Admin. And choose a secure password for this user. I'm going to go with the password. Make sure that the password complies with your security settings of your organization. I'm going to remove this user must change login at next logon. I'll tick this box, and I'll tick this box that the password will never expire. I'm going to create this. Close this. Now what I want to do is I want to make this user a member of the administrators group. So right click on this, click on properties, click on member of, and click on add. And in here, type in administrators. And click on OK. Click on apply and OK. So click on this start menu there, and then type in local security. So when this icon pops up, click on it, and then go to local policies, and click on user rights assignment. Expand this a little bit. Now find the option, the policy here that says log on as a service. Just double click on that, and then say add user or group. And in here, type in the username that you created. So this is the current username. Click on this check name, so it brings that up, and click OK. Now what you want to do is you want to log out of administrator and log in to this user account that you just created. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go here. I'm going to log out. Okay, so now I'm logging in as the X3 admin. And I'm now ready to start installing all the prerequisite components for Sage. The next thing that I'd recommend that you do, but you don't really have to do it, is install a modern browser. So you can go and download the tools that you need, depending on the version of Windows that you're using. So this version of Windows I'm using comes with Internet Explorer, which is quite out of date these days. So I need a modern browser. So I'm going to open it, nevertheless, because that's the only option that I have. And I'm going to go and download a modern browser. I'm going to go to Firefox. So I'm going to go to Firefox there. Download the Firefox from the official website. You can go with any other browser of your choice. I'm going to run this and click on yes. So this will install Firefox. That lets me now go and download all the tools that I need for my installation. Okay, so within the browser, I'm going to go start downloading the tools that I need, the prerequisites for installing Sage X3. The first thing that comes to mind is the Microsoft PowerShell. So just in the search bar, just Google for Microsoft PowerShell. You need the version 7. So just type in Microsoft PowerShell 7. And then click on the first link that says installing PowerShell on Windows. So click on that. Scroll all the way down until you reach the MSI installer. I'm going to go with the latest version here, so it may be different for you, but you can safely go with the latest version. So, but make sure you install at least version 7.2. So I'm going to go with PowerShell 7.5.4 here. I'm installing the x64 64-bit version. So I'll click on that. I'll let the download sit there. I'm going to go and download a couple more tools. So the next thing I want to do is download the SQL Server Management Studio. Again, just type in Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. So click on that first link there and click on download and install SSMS. The latest version as of this date is version 21. I can safely install that. So just click on that. It will give you the installer to install the SSMS. I also want to download and install Notepad++. I'm going to go do that because it's a useful tool. Click on download. And download the latest version of Notepad++. The next thing I need to install is a compression file download system. So I'm going to go with 7-zip. Click on 7-zip link. Make sure you go to 7zip.org and click on the download button there. I'm going to open a new tab. You want to install a Java runtime environment. I'll recommend doing the Zulu installer. You just need the JRE or the runtime environment. You don't really need the JDK. So click on that first link from the azul.com downloads. You want to go with version 11 of the Java system. So I may not be able to have a successful installation with the latest version. So click on the link that lets you select another tool. So just scroll down here, go with Java 11, go with Windows here, go with 64 bits. You can choose to install just the JRE or the JDK. The JRE is more lightweight, so you can do that. Or if you're more convenient with the JDK, you can do that as well. But just make sure in the latest version of Sage, you need to be at least on version 11. And that's the version that I recommend. Don't go any higher, don't go any lower for now. So just when you get the link, make sure that you're on the right link and click on download. So I'm going to download the MSI because that's easier to use on Windows environment. So click on that. And this will now give you the files. Just give it a few seconds for the download to start. Now I have all the tools that are necessary to start installing Sage, apart from the Sage tools themselves. So these are all the prerequisites. So just follow them in any order to install them, and then we'll go to download the Sage installation media from your partner portal, and then we'll start installing all of that. So I'm going to start installing all of this. You go and do the same, and then we'll be back after the installations are done. The installation process is simple as just clicking next, 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 next. That's all. Okay, to install the PowerShell tools for SQL Server, just click on the Start menu and open the new PowerShell that you just installed. So just type in PowerShell and make sure you open the PowerShell 7. Okay, so don't open the ones that are in light blue. Open the one that says PowerShell 7 in the dark blue. So right click on that and say run as admin. Yes to that prompt. Now what you need to type here is this: install dash module. Then you put a blank space, you put a dash name, put a dash, sorry, a blank space again. You just type in SQL Server as I type it there, right, with 2 capital S's, and then you blank space again. Now you put a dash, you say scope, you put a blank space there, all users as one word with a capital A and a capital U. You put a blank space as well, the dash course. You will see this command in the descriptions of the video as well if you want to copy and paste it. But if you want to just type it in, this is what you need to type in. When you're done with the dash force, just hit enter. This will now go and download the SQL Server utilities for PowerShell, which is a necessary tool for installing Sage X3. Wait until this tool is finished and you come back to the prompt. When you're back under the prompt, just to make sure that you have installed the utility or the module, just type in this command. So just say get dash installed module as one word. And then you space for the name. So dash name and then space again, SQL Server. So just type that in. This will make sure that you have that module installed. You enter, you can see that the version, the name, and this one basically has a description. So if you get anything other than this, say this module is not there, or an error, means that installation that we just ran up there was not successful. So run that and make sure that when you run that second command, you will see this version here. We can now exit the PowerShell. If your Windows installation doesn't come with SQL Server, a licensed SQL Server, you need to obtain a legal license for SQL Server if you're going to use this in a production environment. But for experiment purposes, I'm going to go on this SQL Server developer. So click on download now. It will download the installer for you. So just run this installer and follow the prompt to install SQL Server. So you are ready to now install Sage X3. Now, you need to have already downloaded the Sage X3 installation media. So your partner or your Sage support will give you a link to download the media. The media is in a file called X3-12- the subversion. So in this case, it's 0.37. You need to download that, and optionally, if you import the seed folder, which is the demonstration folder, you need to download that one as well from the same link. So make sure you have these 2 files ready. If I go to my downloads folder, you can see them in a better way. So you need at least this file to start installing Sage X3. So I'm going to double click on it and click open. It will mount it as a drive into my computer. And it looks like this. So you need to go to Sage X3 installs directory, X3 installs. Now you'll see all the components that you need to install. You won't have to install all of them, but there's a few of them that you have to install. The first and foremost component you need to install is the ADX or Adonix Admin. So just double click on that and then double click on the ADX Admin. Click on yes. Okay. Click next here. It warns you that you need to have at least PowerShell 7.2 installed in this computer. This is what we did just now. So we're good to go. So just click on I read this information and click next. Accept the terms. Next. Choose where you are going to install Sage X3 ADX Admin. I have a D drive for installing Sage, so I just go with that. So depending on where you want to install it, make sure you choose the right location and click next. Click OK there. Choose the port. I'm going to go with the default port number and tick this box here. So click next as well and click next and click next again. It will install the Adonix admin. Next here, it will now post a couple of scripts there and make sure the service is running. So just bear with the installer for this to finish. Okay, after a few minutes that was done. I just click next there and I click done. Next up, let's install the application. So double click the application directory, click on X3 application, next. Okay. Next here, accept the terms and next. Choose new installation. In the component name, just type in Sage X3 there. I like to keep things simple, so I call all my components Sage X3. So click on next there. We're installing on a local server, so we go with the default option here. Click next. In the installation destination, I'm just going to change this drive to D. I'm going to leave the rest of it as is. And click next. Click OK there, and next. And next. And this will install the application component, which includes the default folder, full Sage X3 folder. So this is a heavy application installation, so we'll just have to wait for it to finish. Click on next and click done. The next component on the list is the console. I don't really need to install the Eclipse Studio for now, so I'm just going to console and double click on it. Click yes. Click OK. Next there. Accept the terms. Click next there. Go with the D drive if you're installing on D, just like me. So just click on next there. Next and next. When this is done, click next. Click next there and next and done. The next component to install is the SqlServer component. So if you're using Oracle database, you need to install the Oracle component, but if you're using the SqlServer just like us now, you install the DB SQL component from the installation. So I'm going to go inside the DB SQL component there. So just double click there to enter that directory. And then double click on the installer file. Click yes. Click OK. Go next. Accept the license and next. Again, I'm going to go with Sage X3 as the component name to keep things simple. Next. Change the installation directory to your desired directory. I'm going to go with D and click next. OK to create the folder and click next. And next again, and it will install. It's a very simple installer. I will install it for you and click done. The next thing you want to install is the runtime. So It's better to install the runtime before the print server because the runtime installs the SQL ODBC Studio files, so the print server doesn't have to do the same. I always recommend installing the runtime first before the print server, but you can also install the print server before runtime, but you need to make sure there's a tick box in there, which I'll show you later, which says, did you want me to install the ODBC libraries? So I'll just go with the runtime first, makes things much easier. So just install the runtime, double click on the installer, click yes there, and click OK. Next. Again, it asks you that you need to have already installed PowerShell 7.2 at least. So make sure that you tick that box and then click next, accept, next, new installation, next. Give it a name. I'm going to go again with Sage X3. This is the only runtime server, so I'm going to leave this option as main. Go next. Change the engine installation directory to D. And click on next there. Click OK. Click next. And this will now go and install whatever is necessary to have a successful runtime component. When this is done, click next. This will now run a couple of scripts and make sure you're ready to start installing the solution. When this is done, click next and click done. Great. Next up is the print server. So just double click on the print server component directory there and click print server again. So double click on that. Yes. Okay there. Click next here. Accept the terms and next. With the component name, you can go with the default name or change it to print or Sage X3, up to you. I'm going to go with the default component name. Just click on next there. And just change the directory to D. Next. And next here as well. Now, if you are installing the print server first before the runtime, make sure you tick this box. If you're installing the print server after the runtime, then you don't need to tick this box because the runtime installer has already installed the ODBC drivers. So since I'm installing the print server after the runtime, I'm not going to tick this and click next and next. Again, this is a large installation, so you're going to so click next here. The next stage is going to take a while. So when that is done, then you can continue with the next and finishing the installer. So wait for this to finish, and then we'll be back. The next component to install is the MongoDB. So let's install that. Double click on the MongoDB component and double click the installer. Click yes there. Click OK. Next there and next as well. Accept the terms and next. New installation next. Choose where to install it. I'm going to switch to D. And next there. Click OK. Next as well. Now choose the node name. I'm going to go with the default one. You can change the port as well. I'm going to go with the default there as well. And next. And click OK. OK as well. And OK as well. So in here, you can choose to make sure that the Mongo requires an SSL certificate to be able to connect it to it. This is a good exercise to make sure that your Mongo is secure. But I'm going to ensure my security through a firewall. So I'm not going to allow external connection to my MongoDB. So therefore, I'm going to remove this requirement which I think is unnecessary if I'm on a single environment without external connections to my Mongo. But your policies may say otherwise. So just go with those. I'm going to untick that to make sure I have a simplified installer. So I'm going to click on next there and next here as well. And this will now install the MongoDB component. Click next there. This will now go and create the service and it will start it. Click next when it's done and click done. I'm now going to install the Syracuse server. So double click on the Syracuse server component and double click the installer. Click yes here. Click OK. Click next here. Accept the term and click next. New installation, leave it as is. Click next there. Choose where to install. Change it to D and next. Click OK here. Click next here. Now again, you can choose the name. You can go with the default port if you like. This is the HTTP port. You can switch to HTTPS later when the installation is done. In terms of the number of processes, go with the number of cores that you have. So depending on the server size, change these numbers. There is a separate topic on optimizing Syracuse for your server size. So I'm just going to go with the default here. And in here, you need to browse your Sage X3 license file. You need to obtain that from Sage. So I'm just going to browse to my desktop and select my license. And in here, you'll need to choose the service user, which we basically granted run as service in the beginning of this tutorial. So I'm going to go with that service user. So I'm going to go with X3 Admin. And I'm going to type in the password. Now it will check the password is correct, and it will check that you have granted the logon as service right to this user when you hit next. If there is no issues, it will let you proceed. Otherwise, it will tell you that you need to do something to fix that issue. So in here, I'm going to go next to install a new certificate. Just create a password for your certificate. I'm going to go and click next. Enter the details of your certificate. I'm going to enter our company's details there. Expert ERP Advisors, Pty Ltd, Sage. I'm going to type in my email in there. And click next there. Again, I'm going to type in the password. Then in here, you need to tick this box saying specify a runtime path. This is really helpful in terms of letting Syracuse install the certificates on your runtime, so you don't have to do that separately. And that's why we install the runtime before we install Syracuse. Otherwise, you'll have to install the certificates manually, which is a painful process. So tick this box and then browse to your runtime installation directory. I'm going to go to D, go to Sage, and go to Sage X3 and choose runtime here. So choose the parent folder of your runtime. It needs to have the keys directory under it. It will copy the certificate keys under this directory. So click open there and click next. Again, now this is going to connect to my MongoDB, and if I had chosen to only accept connections that have an SSL certificate, now I'd have to give it the certificate files. But since I said my Mongo doesn't really require an SSL certificate, I'm going to untick that and make sure the port that you chose during installation is correct. So I'm going to click next. It will try to connect to my MongoDB and it will proceed if there is no issues. So click next there. And this will now go and install Syracuse, and it will load its database into the MongoDB database. Click Next and wait for this process to finish. So when this is all finished, click on Next there. Click Next again and click Done. So we're done installing all the basic and necessary components of Sage X3. All we need to do now is to bind them together so they work together, and that is mostly done through the console. So on your desktop, when you install the console component, it must have created a console icon. So find it on your desktop and just double click on it. It will run the console, in which you'll need to now create a new Sage X3 solution, introduce all the components to each other. So then the Sage X3 servers will be created, it will be started, and then you'll be ready to start importing your folders. So let's do that. The console takes a few minutes or seconds, depending on your server speed to load. So give it a while, it will load all the components and it will pop up. Great, so I have the console now. Click on this Solutions button here and click on the New to create a new solution. Click the New here as well. Now you need to type in your server name. You can either go with the NetBIOS name or the computer name of the server. You can go with the IP address, or you can just simply go with localhost because you're installing on a single server. You are safe either way. I'm just going to keep it simple and go with localhost here. The port number is the port number of the Adonix Admin component that you installed during the installation process. That was the first component that we installed. The default port was at 1895, so this is going to just put that in there. If you change that port by any chance, you need to now put that port number in there. The user, I'm going to go with the user that we created that has the execution rights as a service. I'm going to type in the password for that user as well. So I'm going to click Next. It will now check all the details. If it's all good, it will let me proceed. So in here, it will load all the components that I can bind together. The first component will show me the application component. So I'm going to choose that and then click Next. The next thing is going to be the runtime component. It finds that as well successfully. And I'm going to click that and click Next. In here, it wants to configure the database component. Since I installed the SQL component, the configuration can be done automatically by the console. If you are installing this on a remote database, like the Azure Managed Database or on Amazon's RDS system, or for any reason installing it on a, say, a SQL for Linux or anything on a remote server, you need to go with the manual. But since we are again on the same server, I'll go with the configuration by the console, which is automatic. So I'm going to go Next there. Again, it will ask me for the details of the database component. So I'm just going to continue with the Next here because they're all in the same server. So Next there, it will find that database component for me. Nice and easy. I'll just select that and click Next. And it will ask me now to choose a name for my solution. I'll just leave it as is, Sage X3, and it's Sage X3 on localhost is a description. I'm going to click OK. So this will now create the solution file for me on the server. It will load all the necessary parameters in there, which I'll need to populate in there. So the first thing I need to populate in here is the database login. So by default, it puts in SA in there. So make sure that that is the database user admin. If you chose to create another database user admin, you need to use that. Otherwise, just leave it as SA. In here, you need to type in the password for the SA user. So just double click on that and make sure that you enter the right password for the SA user. And click OK. The name of the instance, I installed the default instance. I'm not going to change this, but if you install the named instance, you'll need to change the instance name to your your installed instance name. So I'm not going to change this. Now I need to choose the database name. So I'm going to just double click on this and just give it a name. I'm going to go with Sage X3 there. So that's going to be the database that's going to get created for me under that instance. In here, it will ask me for the DBMS installation path. So just double click on this parameter. It will look for all the possibilities in your system. So click on this drop down and choose the one that is installed in your system. Click OK there. The next one is the ODBC tools path. Double click on that. And again, use the drop down to click on the option. So we're done with the database component. Let's go down to the application component. Use Apache. I would recommend that you go with false. So we don't really need to have Apache anymore unless we're using those legacy components like the Java web server or a classic application that needs Apache. So I'm going to go with no in this instance because we don't have any of those. So therefore, I don't need to really choose an Apache installation path. Down here, I need to give the system the PowerShell path. I need to have PowerShell installed. So double click on this. The system will look for PowerShell in the system. Just use the drop down there to give it the PowerShell 7 pwsh.exe. Nice and easy. Click OK there. Connection encryption, just double click on that and click OK. So to trust the connection request that Sage will make to your database. Double click on that and click OK as well. So that both of these encryption and the trust needs to be marked as yes. The X-ray service port by default is 20100. You can change that here if you like. And this is the login for the service user. So I'm just going to double click on that and again type in X-ray admin there and the password for X-ray admin. So I'm going to just type that in there as well. So when you're ready, just click on save. All right, so now we need to start configuring the database first and then configuring the application, which will load the first reference folder, which is the X3 folder, into the database. This is a critical point in the system. So if any of these details are wrong or any of the components that we installed are installed incorrectly or the parameters are not configured correctly, then we'll have errors in the configuration we'll need to address. So fingers crossed, let's click on configure database and leave it as full configuration and click OK. It will now start configuring the database component. It will go and create the Sage X3 database in SQL. And if this completes, means your SQL connection was correct. And if you click OK there and close, you will see that the database will now be active. Nice and easy. The next thing is to configure the application. So click on the configure application and click yes there. This will now load the X3 component into the database and it will start the Sage X3 service. This is going to be a lengthy process. There could be errors here and there based on different parameters in the system. But if everything is correct and in good order, this process, this wizard will finish successfully. It's going to be a while before this ends because this is a lengthy process. And we'll be back after this is done. Just giving you an update that the data has started to load into the database. And if you go to the trace tab, you will see that the tables have started loading into my database. So again, this will keep you updated with the progress. So far, 5% has completed. So we'll just have to wait for this to complete. Just giving you guys another update here that the load of the tables into the database is now finished. It's now creating some other extra files under the disk. So the database load for the database configuration started at 3:36 p.m. and ended at 3:49. So it took around 15 minutes or so. So depending on your speed, it may be less or more. So it's launching all the scripts and then it will show a prompt like this that the operation is now completed. So this shows a successful loading of the solution to the database, which is a good thing. And click on OK here and click Close. Now this will mean that we'll now need to go inside the Syracuse component and create our solution. So basically introduce our solution here to Syracuse so they can work together. And then we will load the menus into MongoDB in there, and then we'll come back here to configure the print solution. Great, so I'm going to minimize my console here. I'm going to go inside Firefox and try to log in inside the Syracuse component. Go into the address bar and type in localhost colon 8124. That's the port that we use to install Syracuse. So you'll be greeted with this login window. So just type in admin as the username and admin as the password. It's case sensitive, so just make sure you type in the same username and password in there. So click sign in. It will now ask you to choose a new password for admin. So just enter a safe password. I'm just going to go with a password there and set the new password. I'm going to save this password for you next time. It will now load the Syracuse component for the first time. You've got the welcome page like this, the landing pages. So click on administration and click on X3 solutions here. We need to now connect the X3 solution in the console to the Syracuse administration system. So click on actions here and click on new X3 solution. The code of the solution is Sage X3 there. So just type that in as one word. Description, you can just give it Sage X3, whatever name that you want to give it. Solution name again, go Sage X3 as well as one word. And in the application, just click on the selection button there and choose X3 ERP. In here, go with the Sage X3 protocol because we didn't go with Apache. If you went with Apache, you'll need to select the second option, but I'm going to go with this first option, which is the Sage X3 protocol. In the local server host, just type in localhost because that's where the solution is installed. Otherwise, if you chose a different server, you need to put that server address in there. And this is the port that we chose in the console. Again, going back to the console, this is the port. All right, so make sure you type in the same port. As soon as you do that and tab out of the field, the system will add the runtime if it finds it, and will give you this success message saying synchronization with JSON is now complete. All right, so this means that you've done the correct job. So when you've done that, just click on save here. Now click on the Sage X3 logo there and go to the administration again and go to endpoints. And you'll see the Sage X3 here created for you. So click on that endpoint link here, the Sage X3/X3. And now click on actions and click on customizations and menus initialization. So click on that. So Sage will now load all those menus into MongoDB. So let's click that and click yes. This will now load all those menus into MongoDB. So when you go to Sage X3 the next time, you will see all those other menus other than administration in there. This will also be a lengthy process depending on your server speed. So let's give it a while and then we'll be back when this is done. Okay, so when this is done, just click on this trash bin icon there. Click on the Sage logo there and just log out of Sage and come back, and then you'll see all these menus added here. So just log out there and log in again. And you'll now see the dashboards nicely added, and you'll see the menus nicely added here. The first thing you need to do is you need to go to one of these classic functions for the supervisor to be initiated. Otherwise, your console is not going to work, right? So make sure you do this. So go to, say, for example, the setup module, and just click on this users function. So this will now initialize the supervisor, and this will be the message. So you need to make sure that you do this step before you go back to the console. Just wait for this to finish. It will be a process that needs to be completed. So when this is done, you will see the users function, and you'll see a list of users in the Sage X3 directory. You can see that you are in the Sage X3 folder. You didn't really need to change this folder. It's all done. So if you go to the console now and click on the folders directory, then you will see the list of folders. Without initializing the supervisor, you won't be coming here. When you click on that, you'll get an error. So make sure you go to a classic function inside the X3 folder in Syracuse. The supervisor gets initiated, and then you will come back here successfully. As you can see, my X3 folder is 2025 R1 or patch 37 version 12. So what I want to do now is I will need to now create or connect the solution to my print solution or print server, and that will be the end of my installation. Great. So click on, when you're in the console, just click on the Sage X3 print server button there, and then click on this button here to add a print server. Then again, click on new, and in the server name, just type in localhost because this is a single server. And in the user, just type in the username and the password for that user, and click on next. This will now find the print server component that we installed earlier. So click on it and then click OK. If you get an error like this, means your component is locked. So what you need to do is just exit this the console and come back to it. So what I want to do now is I want to go and log out of my Syracuse and go back to the console and click OK. Exit the console and come back to it again. This error might happen. It may not happen to you, but if it does, just the workaround is just to close the console and come back to it. So I'm going to close the console and go there again. Just click on solutions again, double click on it. It will ask you to log in. So just type in the X3 admin's password. Try that again. Click OK there. Loads everything for you. Just go back to the print server again. You'll see the print server here. Just double click on it. Perfect. Now that you have it, that's in the user ID, type in X3 admin again. And the password for X3 admin. And click OK. If the port that you're choosing for the print server is larger than 32,780, then you'll need to install a patch. But if you just leave it as 1890, then you won't need to install the patch. So just press the configuration button and click yes. This will now go and create the Sage X3 print service, which you can then publish it to your solution. So click OK there, close. And then click on print server publications. Click on add solution and choose your Sage X3 solution and click OK. This will now publish the print server to our solution and close. Later, when we install our folders or import our folders, we can come back here and choose the folders that you'd like to publish to this print server. For now, I have only one folder. So whenever you want to publish the print server to your folder, come back to this place and then tick your folder and click on apply publication. So I'm going to publish this print server to my X3 folder. So I'm going to click on apply publication. And that's it. The next step, which is an optional step, is to import the seed folder. If you have downloaded the seed folder ISO file from Sage's website, you can go and unzip that and then import it here. So the next step covers that topic. The seed folder is a separate .iso file, which you must have downloaded from the Sage FTP address or the box address. So when you have that, just double click on it so it will mount it to your computer. So you have it there now. Just go in the seed directory there. It has a zip file. Just copy that zip file into your D drive. So I'm going to go where I installed Sage. Just paste it on the root address. Paste it there and continue. What you need to do here is to unzip this file right here. So I'm just going to right click on the 7-zip or your favorite file extraction service. So we installed 7-zip just for this purpose. So go there and click on extract to seed. This will now extract the seed folder. It will be a few minutes by the time this ends. So when this one ends, we'll come back to copy that into our Sage directory. Okay, so when the extraction is done, just go inside that extracted directory and you will see two directories here, x3 and x3 pub and seed. So just select them both and cut them. So just go back to the root directory, go Sage. Now we need to go where the folders are located. So in here, we go to Sage X3 and then we go to folders. This is where our folders are. So just you will see X3, X3 pub on installer, and you will see a couple of JSON files in there like folders and solution. That's how you know that you are in the right place. So when you are there, just right click on an empty place and just click paste. This will now put all what you need into that directory. You can go back to the root directory and delete these extra files. I'm just going to go there and just delete that. Continue there just to make sure we have a clean drive. So going back inside the console, click on the folders here. This is where we go and import the seed folder into the database. So click on import here. And now you see that system detects the seed is there. So you can choose to go with parallel mode. I'm not going to do that, especially in a production environment. Don't do this because this will eat up a lot of your resources on the server. And sometimes it runs into errors if you go with too many parallel processes at the same time. The safest way is to just not activate the parallelized mode. It takes a longer time, but it's the safest way of doing this. So basically just choose the seed folder here and click OK. This will now go and read the directory, the SVG directory of a seed folder that we just pasted into our solution folder, and it will load it into the database. And the next step is to go and introduce that folder to Syracuse. So we'll wait for this to finish, and then we'll be back. Great, so when this is completed, you will get this prompt. So click on OK there and click close. Now it will take you back to the console and you will see that the seed folder is now added there. So the last step is to log back into Sage X3. I'm going to go with localhost again and click on my admin account to log in there. So you'll need to now add that folder to your solution. So wait for the window to appear. You can go to administration, then go to X3 solutions. You click on Sage X3 and then click on actions here and click on create endpoints. Now you will see seed here, so just activate that and click OK. This will now say Sage has been X3 has been added to seed. So just click on super admin and click log out, and you log back in again. And if you go to the list of folders, you will see that seed is here. So just click on that, and it will now load the seed folder for you. Just wait for this hourglass to finish running, and then you will see more menus here because see it is a operational folder. You can see all the folders here, and you can, for example, go to sales and click on the orders button there, and say go to standard entry, and this is your seed folder. So click on Sage Logo to go back to your home page, and you're done. The next and final step is to go and publish the solution to the print server. So go to the console and go to print server and double click on your Sage X3 solution there and click on the solution here, and then you will see the C that folder has been added. So just tick that box and click apply publication. Now this will publish the print server in your folder. So click OK and click close. Now going back inside the seed folder, go to setup and go to your destinations, and make sure you update all these destinations with your server address. So for example, if I go to the PDF or to the preview, just on this destination, just click on the server name table and click on this lens here. It will load the server solution automatically because you've already published it. Press the escape key or press cancel edit here and press save. So this will be what you need to do for the rest of the destinations every time you publish a new print server. So keep repeating this process for all of them and save. So I'm just going to go and do this. Until I'm done with all the print destinations. And this is how you publish the print server to your folder and update your destinations.